Hi, my name is James, and I live in Thailand. And some people say living the dream. Well, okay, well, Thailand's okay. I've been here for about 16 years. Now, what I want to tell you about is manifestation. I've done a lot of research on this topic, and I have done a lot of manifestation in my life. And manifestation works, and it can work for you. Now, I'm doing this off the top of my head. I'm not reading any scripts or anything like that. The quality of the video is not that good. I've got an Acer computer, and I just swapped cams, etc. But this is the best quality I can get, so just bear with me. Now, look, if you're serious about manifestation is a universal law, okay? It's a universal law. Now, if you want to use this universal law of manifestation, the first thing you really, really need to do is you need to forgive. Yeah, forgive everyone in your life. And when I say forgive, I mean forgive people, physical objects, animals, just like everything. You've just got to forgive them. You can't hate your computer, you can't hate your cam, you can't hate your neighbors, you can't even hate someone that's killed someone. You might have a dog that's eating your furniture or whatever. You can't hate your dog. So just look, throw all that out the window, forgiveness. And then you've got to start to learn to love everything. Now, this is very important because, one of the processes of manifestation is you can't have anxiety and stress and all of that in your life. Now, the next thing you've got to do is you, you've got to get into your head what you want to manifest. And in this case, we're going to do an experiment. And you can follow this. So, like please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And we'll see how this, I'm going to try and manifest this particular video, manifest it to be successful. And you can see that this channel hasn't been doing particularly well because it's only new. I do have other channels, but we'll just see if we can manifest this video. So you've got to set a goal. Now it can be anything. It can be it can be health related. It can be business related. It can be like trying to find a new love in your life. Like you might have a business that's not going particularly well. You might want to manifest that to be successful, or whatever. Okay, so you got to pick something, and then what you've got to do, you've actually got to see yourself. You've got to see yourself. So, like example, I'm manifesting this video, so I've got to now I've got to visualize this video as being successful. Okay, I can't have any. Basically, I'm visualizing this basically into the future. If anyone asks me, well, when I visualize things, to be honest with you, I don't usually talk about them. Okay, so you've just got to visualize your video or whatever as being successful. You've just got to visualize yourself going to your YouTube channel and saying, oh, God, you know, I've had 10,000 views or whatever. And you've got to visualize that, you know, you've got to visualize it. And you've got to believe it in your heart. Now, I'm going to tell you a story, okay? This is a true story about something that happened to me once. I drove my car to another city I had a passenger, it was a friend of mine. Well, I'll tell you, I was in Australia and I was in Canberra. Canberra's the capital. And I drove my car to Sydney. So I'm in Sydney and I parked my car in a street. And my friend was in the car and we both hopped out and we we decided we were actually going to a fish market and we were looking at a fish business actually. And what happened is I was driving, right? And I got out of the car and I was walking away from the car and then I turned around and looked at the car and I don't know why, but I I saw the car in a state where someone had basically got a baseball bat and broken all the windows and dented the whole car up and etc. Now I didn't tell my friend about that. I just like I said, I turned around and I saw that. And then we were looking at these we were at this fish market for about 2 hours and then we went and had a drink somewhere. And the whole time that I was away from the car for 2 hours, I knew, I was absolutely convinced, it was in my heart that someone had done what I actually saw, in this vision, if you could call it a vision. And I was just absolutely convinced. There was a stage where I thought, oh no, that didn't happen, but I just I just eradicated that thought. I said, it's happened. I'm like, you got to live with it, Dave. Someone's, got a baseball bat and you know destroyed your car. Anyway, went back to the car, and yes, that's what had happened. Now, the actual chances of that happening were pretty remote, but it did happen. Okay. I'll tell you another story. My dad had cancer. This was maybe 40, over 45 years ago. And the doctors said, like there's no chance of him living and all of that. And I actually got a phone call from his doctors, and they said, your dad's going to be dead in about, like a couple of months. There's nothing we can do for him. It's all over. Anyway, I went to see my dad, and I said to my dad, no father of mine is going to die from cancer. It's just not going to happen, Dad. And at that stage, he was, he'd gone from like about 16 stone down to like 8 stone. He was basically a walking skeleton. All his hair had fallen out. The poor guy was a mess. And, I was absolutely convinced that he wasn't going to die. Death just didn't enter my mind. And bingo, a couple of months later, he didn't die, he recovered. And this particular case was actually documented by doctors because they couldn't believe it. Okay? So if you think manifestation doesn't work, you're only kidding yourself. So let's just go back. You've got to love everyone and everything, like I explained in the beginning. You've got to forgive, everyone in your life, that's, you know, may have done bad to you, and you've got to, you know, I just outlined two cases where my heart and what I wanted became one. And at that point in my life, there was no stress or pressure, and there was, you know, I wasn't living a life that was full of anxiety and stress, because anxiety and stress um, are not a good thing for manifestation. Okay. Another thing, you know, like I was in another situation once where I had to manifest something, and I did that listening to music. I was just listening to this, you know, easy listening music, and basically living living what I wanted, you know, as I was listening to the music, you know, picturing myself as, you know, like what I wanted had already come to be, and that worked, and that was a pretty tough one. I've also been quite ill in my life. I had an incurable disease. Yeah, it was totally incurable. And, you know, I manifested that out of existence, yeah, which is just totally remarkable. And, you know, I'm sharing my experiences with you here today, heart to heart. Okay. Now, when a lot of people make videos about manifestation, there's a lot of technical things involved in it. But what I've just outlined to you are the main points. Okay. Now, there are things you know, you could use it to win a lottery. You know, now uh, in the description there's a link to some lottery software if you're interested in it. Now, uh, you see, to actually reinforce what you want, you you've sort of got to, sometimes you've got to action. So, you know, like if you wanted to win the lottery, you're going to have to action it. And to really concrete that action, you know, if you've got some software, and you know, if you hit the link, you can see, you know, with this particular software, people win again and again and again and again. So that's going to go into your head, you know. People are winning this again and again and again and then again and again and again. Yeah. And then you're going to go and buy your tickets. You're basically going to do what I told you, and you're going to be living the life, you know, like that you've already won it. Yeah. You've got to picture yourself sitting at a computer, you know, basically checking the numbers, and oh, I've won, it's happened. You know, you've got to have love and compassion in your heart. You know, when you watch a lot of these press conferences that people have won big lotteries in America, a lot of these people are really decent, wholesome people, you know, and they're indirectly doing what I'm telling you, but then they're not doing it knowingly. Well, they, you know, they're not talking about manifestation as such, but they've, these people don't, well, they appear to be lovely people. They don't seem to have hate and resentment and all of that in their lives. And, you know, and they really firmly believe that they're actually going to win the lottery. So, you know, there you go. Now, as mentioned, there's a link to that software in the description. You know, you're welcome to subscribe. I'm going to manifest this video into a success, and you can follow that here by subscribing. And I think that's enough for now. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I'm a sincere guy. Uh, And you know, if if you want to message me, you know, just leave a comment. You know, I'll be reading all the comments or whatever, and I'm here to help you, you know, as well. you know, with anything that, you know, like that might be troubling you, or you need advice about, you know, this whole manifestation process, I'm there. You're not alone, okay? I know that life's tough, and I'm there, okay? I'm there. I'm there for you, okay? Thank you. Bye bye from Thailand.